Hello, this is Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall, and we're back here again with an old friend that we haven't seen in a while. This is the Dell Dimension 2350. It's missing a couple of parts, but in this video we're going to take care of that. You see, since last week's video about rebuilding the Packard Bell Legend 1510 Supreme went so well, I figured why not do a video where I semi-rebuild this Dell Dimension 2350. It hasn't been powered on in I'd say 6 months or so, and it's currently missing the bottom optical drive here and the power supply. Now, neither of these parts that were in here failed. The reason they're no longer here is because I had to kind of steal it away from this computer to put in other machines I needed to use at the time. So today we're going to rectify that and put those parts back in here. Just a recap of the specs of this. This is a Intel Pentium 4 Northwood clocked at 2.2 gigahertz. Originally shipped with 256 megs of DDR RAM. It's now running at 1 gigabyte of DDR RAM. Has a 60 gigabyte hard drive, which is still in here. And it still works just fine, believe it or not, as of a few months ago when I last used this computer. And it's been upgraded with a Creative Sound Blaster Live 5.1 sound card and a NVIDIA GeForce 5200, FX 5200 I mean. It's PCI, there's no AGP on this computer as you can see right there. But PCI is better than nothing, and it's certainly a lot better than the onboard Intel graphics that powered this computer for over 10 years. And this computer, as you know, we celebrated its 15th birthday last summer. This computer is one that I will never get rid of. I'm going to keep this as long as physically possible. This is the kind of computer I want to show my children someday, show them what their dad used as a computer when he was a teenager. I bought this new in 2003, June of 2003, and we're going to bring it back to life today. Now, unlike the Packard Bell last week, there's really not much that needs to be done with this computer. We just need to put the second optical drive back in here and give it back a power supply, and hopefully this computer will be back in working order. Oh, and I do need to put a CMOS battery in there, but I can't seem to find my bag of new CMOS batteries. I'll have to hunt that down before we power this computer on, but we can go ahead and proceed with the optical drive install. This computer originally shipped with a DVD plus RW burner. This was the first computer I ever owned that could burn a DVD, but it could only burn a DVD plus R or plus RW. That was the only catch. You couldn't record on anything that was minus, which was kind of odd at the time, but keep in mind this was 2003 when DVD burning was still in its infancy. But that drive died on me a couple of years ago, and I had to replace it with this much nicer LG DVD-RW drive that's the compatible IDE connector. And unlike the original drive in this one, this can burn DVD minus Rs and minus RWs. Not that I ever burn DVDs on this computer anymore, but it's still nice to keep this computer as close to original as I can. So, let's pop the cover off. As you can probably see, this computer is not in the best physical condition, but in some kind of weird way, I kind of like it that way. I guess because it shows battle scars of all the years I've had it, and it just shows that this computer has experience. Now, I've got to remember how the drives go in here. First, I'll take this top drive out, which is not original. This is a CD-RW drive. The original was just a plain CD-ROM reader. But it died years ago, and I put this one in here. I would prefer to have another CD-ROM in here, or a DVD-ROM drive in here since I've already got the recorder on bottom, but hey, it works. Who's going to care? I just want to take this top drive out just to see how I have it connected. Okay, I need to put a mounting screw down here, like so, and I've actually salvaged quite a few of those recently from various Dell systems. And here's one right here. I guess it'll work. Okay. It's going like this. This optical drive was built January of 2007. This was one of the last things I ever bought new at the Greensboro Value Village back in 2017. Yes, I'm still bitter that place closed down. My computer collecting has really gone downhill since then. I now have to source most of my stuff through eBay, which is not very ideal considering how the prices are on there. And let me just check the jumpers on here. The top drive is set to cable select, and I'll put this DVD drive on bottom to cable select as well, because for some reason Dell loved using cable select back in the day. Can't say I know exactly why, but as long as it works, who cares? Now I just gotta get that jumper out. Go. And cable select is, where is that? We can now proceed to put these drives in. Go ahead and put the main one back up on top. I like to have the inferior drive on top. I don't know why that is. I just do. And we'll screw the top one back in. Go. Grab a screw out of the cup of screws so we can put the other drive in. This computer will be old enough to drive this summer. It'll be 16 years old. And I just gotta say, this computer still does not seem that old to me for some reason. I guess because the 2000s themselves, the decade in itself, doesn't seem that long ago to me. I know it does to a lot of you guys watching this because I have a pretty young audience. But yeah, 2003 still seems like yesterday to me. And people are already nostalgic for the year 2010. Now that really caught me off guard the other day when I read that. But to each their own. That's what I always say when it comes to this matter. There's no set law for nostalgia. Alright, let's put this one in. And try not to drop my screwdriver like I just did. Go. And they're nice and secure. So I'll go ahead and plug in our IDE cable. Get that on camera. Okay. Just remembered I need to put a CD audio cable in here as well. On newer systems like this, it's not as necessary, but I still like to have it. Hey, there we go. And I guess we can go find ourselves a CMOS battery. I need to go find where I put my bag, so one moment. And just like with all the other parts that were missing from this computer, the reason there's no CMOS battery in here is because I had to borrow it for another computer I needed at the time. But we'll go ahead and pop this brand spanking new one in. And there we go. We should be able to keep our time and date and other settings without any trouble. So now, onto the power supply. And the power supply I'm going to use is, well, I wouldn't really recommend it, but it's the only one I have on hand right now. But for a computer like this, probably no big deal. And I probably just jinxed myself saying that, but this is a Best Tech power supply that was originally in a HP system. I'm going to take these SATA connectors off of it because we don't need those on a computer this old. In many ways, this computer is old. In many ways, this computer is really not that old when you think about it. I need to find some screws to put in here. I know I should have done this before. I'm not that kind of guy. I like to wait till the last minute. Okay. First thing to do is probably take this green shroud off the CPU so we can route the cables properly. And let's see, how's this thing go? I can never remember this. Okay, apparently it goes the other way. I'm good at putting the computer together, aren't I, George? Dust from this power supply is getting in my nose. Well, let's just take this completely off. In many ways, this shroud is a good idea. In many ways, it's not. Go. Now I forgot how I had it going. Something like this. Let's call the IDE cable there. Quality entertainment here, folks. Must-see TV. Will Billy get the power supply into the Dell? Only time will tell. Ooh. Oh, that didn't feel good. I'm just going to do it this way. I know you can't see it, but this is the only way we can get the power supply to go in. Hopefully. There we go. That is nice. That is nice. That is very nice. Okay, get that first screw in just to hold it in place. And second screw in the opposing corner. Okay. Almost there. I really shouldn't be using this power supply. They're known to fail in very alarming ways. This is the only compatible power supply I have at the moment, unfortunately. Okay. Should be nice and secure. Now let's start routing some cables, shall we? We'll start with the CPU power. I should probably cut this cable tie. Hold on. Okay, it's a little bit better. So, actually we'll start with the main motherboard power. Got it in the right way around the first time. That's rare. And now for CPU. There's a little cable holder right here. I wonder if we can make use of that. This computer's been through a lot of power supplies. Mainly because I take them out of this computer, use them in other computers, and sell them off. It's pretty pathetic, I know, but okay, that's the best we're going to get, I think. Okay, now for the drives. Floppy. Yes, this computer does have a floppy drive. Dust from that power supply really is bothering my nose. Can't say I recommend it. This floppy power connector is wanting to be a little bit stubborn. Let me just take the data cable out just so I can get a better vantage point. There we go. That did the trick. And now for the hard drive. Just simply connect it there. And guess that's all for the power supply. Another computer I had to sit in there was falling down. Put the shroud back on. I don't care what society says about the Dell Dimension 2350 and I guess the 2400 for that matter. They're just nice computers. They weren't powerhouses, but they worked. And as far as this computer is concerned, it still works. They just can't be killed. Of course, capacitors will probably go bad on this, but there's always other motherboards, at least for now. Go up, get on there. Okay, I guess that's good. We'll go grab a CD audio cable. I'll do that off camera, and then we can power this up. Okay, we're all together here. So you got both drives up here. Alright, let's flip the surge protector on. Okay, apparently it's going to power on its own. And this is the original monitor for this computer, which will sadly have to go away someday soon because there's a big gash in the screen. And why don't we get this? Keyboard's registering. Just plug into the onboard video, see that. Oh, there we go. Not sure why the NVIDIA card's not working, but we need to set our date. How it goes. Okay, it's February the 4th. It's not 2001. It is 2019, and the time is, I think, 4:41 p.m. Peripheral configuration, integrated audio, we don't want that. Primary video adapter, auto, but it's so it should be see in the video card that I put in, so can't say I know what's going on there. Everything there looks good. Oh. I don't think that's what the CD-ROM drive is supposed to be registering as. Opens, but... Okay, it didn't do anything. Huh. Not sure what UDMA is, but we'll turn it on. Diskette configuration on. Okay, save changes, I guess. We'll probably boot into whatever I had running on here before. Probably Windows XP, which is what was original to the system. Okay, so now the onboard's not putting out a signal. Switch it back to the NVIDIA card. There we go. Front panel USB cable not detected. How is that? Okay, this is going to Acronis OS selector. Okay, this was running a dual boot of XP in '98. I guess we'll go into XP. Don't think I really had much installed on here last time I was using it. Haven't really had this computer in a regular rotation in a very long time, so I just haven't had much use for it. And it still amazes me that the original 60 gigabyte Western Digital hard drive that came with this computer is still functional. I checked the smart data on it a couple of years ago and it came up clean. Of course, you don't want to go by smart data alone, but that's still very promising, I guess. Don't have speakers hooked up to it at the moment, but I do have a network cable connected, but it's not acknowledging that. Probably because it wasn't in all the way. There we go. And I think this is running the unofficial service pack 4. I think the last time I used this computer was when I did the 15th anniversary video last summer. So yeah, everything seems to be in order, but I'm not going to be keeping this install on here, which you will find out why in a few moments. But I should probably troubleshoot that front USB header and see what's going on with that. And also see why the CD-ROM drive up top was registering garbly goop. So I will do that off camera. Hey, I told it not to install updates. You saw me on camera tell it not to install Windows updates, but guess what? It's installing the Windows updates anyway. Why, Windows? This is XP, not 10. Oh, well. Anyway, be back in a moment. Okay, got it in its new home. It's where I was using my Dell Dimension 8200, which is now in storage. Nothing wrong with it, I just wanted a change of scenery. That's why the 2350 is sitting in its place now. And the optical drive, the top one, I just could not get it to work. I changed it from cable select to master, but it would still show up as gibberish in the BIOS, and the operating system would not detect it at all. So I think this optical drive up here, the CDRW drive, is just dead. And unfortunately I don't have any replacements for it right now, so what I did was I left it up here just so it would keep the computer looking pretty. And right now I only have this DVD-RW drive connected, which is working just fine. So eventually I'm going to find another optical drive to put up there. And as far as an operating system is concerned, well, I'm going with Windows 2000 because that's what the 8200 was running, and I've got a much more appropriate computer for running Windows XP on which is right next to it, so there's really no need for XP. And I'll go ahead and let this finish installing, and we will resume the video afterwards. And this is normal, don't worry. Okay, everything's set up now, well, mostly set up software-wise. I'm having to copy a bunch of game files from the Carolina Flyer over to the 2350 right now, but everything is installed. By the way, I did fix the front USB header. It was just not connected properly, simple as that. Shame about the optical drive, but we'll get another one in there eventually. For now, I'll just use that DVD-RW drive on the bottom. Really no big deal. At least there's not a big gaping hole in it anymore. And yes, it is running Windows 2000. I'm not sure if I've ever run Windows 2000 on here before. I've run XP most of the time on this computer, and 98 on occasion, and maybe even ME, I think. But never 2000. I've just never had a reason to until now. But so far it's running just fine. It's a little bit more powerful than the 8200 I had set up here earlier, which had a 2 gigahertz Pentium 4. This is a 2.2 gigahertz Pentium 4, and I've gone from 512 megs of RAM to a gig of RAM. So, slight upgrade, not much, but there you go. I'll play with the Dimension 2350 for a little while, and when I grow bored of it, I'll swap it back out for the 8200. Or whatever else I want to hook up to this KVM setup. So, guess there's not much else to see in this video, so we'll go ahead and end it here. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off. Thank you for visiting the Nostalgia Mall. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like. The link to all of these are down below. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off.